Hello, I'm Shazza and this is Hooked on Books, and I can only apologise for the terrible lighting. In today's video I'm going to talk about the books that I selected to take with me to Northern Ireland on a little trip home. It's always quite hard to decide what to bring when you're going away somewhere, and I'd love to know how you decide. For me, I try to have a mix of genres, so I kind of try to have a mix. Sometimes I take things that I think I really need to read that, and if I take that away with me, I'll definitely read it and I'll not be distracted by every other book that I have. But I'm going to go through them and I'll tell you what I picked, why I picked it, etc, etc. So the book I decided would be perfect for the plane was this one, which is Do You Dream of Terra 2, which isn't actually out in the UK yet. I think it's out in April, and it's actually by someone that I worked with for a little while in Waterstones. She was a Christmas temp, and this is her first novel, and I thought it was going to be perfect. I kind of wanted some genre fiction, so I thought fantasy or sci-fi. I was a bit iffy about sci-fi because I didn't want anything too complex. I had an early morning flight. I wanted something that was going to be fun and easy to read. And this isn't so much hard sci-fi. In fact, it's described on the back as the long way to a small angry planet meets the 100. And having read the first 50 pages on the flight, I really enjoyed it. Very easy to read, and I can definitely see the comparisons with A Long Way to the Small Angry Planet in that it's much more character focused. It tells a story of a group of young people that are about 12 or 13 that get selected to go and visit Terra 2 and colonise it. It takes 23 years or something to get there, so it's quite scary to think about how that's basically a huge chunk of these children's lives. So to begin with, it's all happening on Earth, so it's quite a chunky book, so I think there's going to be a lot of build up before they actually take off and go visit the planet. But I'm loving it so far, really well written, and I really think that this is going to be a big hitter when it comes out. I brought with me, I thought I would have a nice sort of smaller size novella, which is The Mezzanine by Nicholas Baker, and I thought I would probably have maybe at least one day in which I could maybe just sit down and read, and I thought that I would probably be able to get through this whole thing. I have, however, read the first 30 pages, and I think I've decided that this was probably not the best choice of book to take away. I haven't had a huge amount of free time to read actually, and there's been kind of a lot of distractions, and I feel like a book like this kind of requires you to have a good chunk of time where you can concentrate, because the narration in this book is just following this person that's talking about the mundane aspects of life and explaining and discussing them in a huge amount of detail. You know, there's an entire chapter about a shoelace that's broken, and ordinarily things like that, it sells it to me, because I always for some reason find really mundane things interesting if it's written well, but it's been boring me to tears, to be honest. But I think it's more of a situation of it's not the right time for me to read it, which is a shame, but I will get back to it and hopefully I'll really like it. It's a really cool cover and I really like the concept of it. It's quite strange, there's a ton of footnotes in here as well, but it's quite funny just because it's talking about the most pointless things in so much detail. But I will get back to this, but I don't think it was the right book to go away with. Book I brought with me was We Are Our Brains, From the Womb to Alzheimer's. So this is a non-fiction popular psychology one that's obviously looking at everything in relation to the brain, which is fascinating to me. I haven't picked it up yet. I haven't, like I said, I've actually had a huge amount of distraction since being home, so I didn't necessarily feel like reading non-fiction was going to work for me because I had so much other stuff going on. But I think it's quite good usually if I'd had more free time to have a range of genres. So I do think that having these three quite different books were good choices, but I'd say that this one is probably the only one that's been a bit of a success for me because I think it's a perfect playing book. Whereas these other two, I don't think that they're good playing books. I think that they're more of a, if you've got free time when you're away somewhere to sit down and actually concentrate, then I think these two would work. But perhaps I should have chose something a little bit lighter. And I hear people talk about holiday reads all the time, and I've never really kind of understood the concept. So I don't think I'm necessarily the best at choosing books to take away, but maybe next time I will do better. I'd love to know how you guys decide what to take with you, because for me, I really overthink it, and I look at all my books and I just worry that I'm going to choose the wrong ones. I don't regret the choices that I made. I think that I would have enjoyed reading all of these if I'd had a little bit more time. But there we go. I also inevitably ended up in a bookshop when I was home, and I bought 2 books there. I also read one of them, so I brought books with me and ignored them and just bought a new one and read that instead. I'm going to talk about the 2 books in my next video because they're going to be books that are part of my TBR for the Irish read-along that's happening in March. So there's a lot of readathons happening in March. So there's 3 of which I'm interested in. The Irish readathon, Rory Gilmore readathon that Hannah from the Dyslexic Reader has just created, and middle grade March as well. So I'm kind of going to try to do some of the challenges for each of those because I'm kind of interested in all 3 readathons. We'll see how I get on. So those are the 3 books that I brought home with me, some of which have been more successful than others, and then the 2 books that I bought whilst I was home as well. It's been somewhat of a success. I don't know why I'm saying that. It hasn't been a success at all, but those are the 3 books I chose. And I think, to be honest, I am genuinely interested in reading all 3. I just think I didn't have as much reading time as I thought I would. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I shall see you again in my next video. Bye.